Hi, my name is Stefani Bush.
And I'm Ralph Bush.
And we're from Massachusetts, and we're parents of 2 children with primary immunodeficiency disease. When we were expecting our first child, we were very excited, and we had all these ideas and thoughts about what it was going to be like. And, they came out, 10 fingers, 10 toes, everything was great, And, once we hit the 3rd or 4th month with my son, we began to notice that something was very different. And we couldn't quite put our finger on it, but it was not what we had expected. As time went on, my son began to have more issues, more infections, and we had a pediatrician that did not connect the dots. And what ended up happening was by the time he hit 12 months, I was so sick of having to take him into the doctors, and it was literally 2, 3 times a week sometimes, that I gathered all of the medical information that I could, every hospitalization, every doctor's visit, every piece of lab work from any place he had ever had lab work done, and I graphed it out. And I went in for his 12-month checkup, and I put it down in front of the doctor and said, something's wrong. And he looked at it and he said, you're right, something is wrong. And from there we began our journey trying to figure out what was wrong with my son. At that point, I was pregnant with my daughter, and finding out that there was something wrong with my son's immune system was quite terrifying. And because we knew that we had another child on the way, and there were so many uncertainties. We were connected with an amazing doctor at Children's Hospital, and our journey began to develop, and it was a long journey where one child was diagnosed with an immune deficiency, and the second one had just been born and was already showing signs of it. And it's been a very long journey, but through that journey, we have learned a lot. There has been many hours up late at night, countless hours of researching on the internet, joining message boards and forums, asking lots of questions, sending out lots of emails, contacting doctors from out of state, asking questions. I wanted to learn. I wanted to understand the best way to treat my child. When my second child, Sasha, began to show more and more symptoms of the immune deficiency, she was tested, and sure enough, she also had the same immune deficiency as my son, Will. And her course was a little bit more severe, so she actually ended up being on product much earlier than him. She was 17 months, and we started her on Vivaglobin. And the change that we saw in her was absolutely wonderful. The new lease on life that she had, I was kicking myself for not doing it sooner.
Yeah, that's one of the first things we said.
We
should have done this sooner.
I know, and we were so hesitant to do it because there were so many risks and, things that we had to consider, and it was once a week. We had to stick her with a needle, and, it was the best thing we ever did. And as part of that journey, one of the things that ended up happening was, as a parent, I didn't want anybody else to go through what we had gone through in that journey of trying to discover what was going on with our children. And what we ended up doing was, we started a group, and first it was Team Will and Sasha, and we began doing blood drives, and, we wanted to raise awareness. We did a bracelet campaign, and we did a parade, and it ended up becoming this bigger thing, and we turned into Team Hope. And we met lots of other families in Massachusetts. We did a lot of advocacy. And it was a wonderful experience because we were able to not only empower ourselves to take control over this disease and not let it control us, but we were able to teach our children that they had some power and control over what was going on, and that they had the opportunity to impact somebody else in this world because of their disease, and to do something good because of this disease, that there wasn't just bad that was going to come from this. And even though they were, at the time, only 2.5 and 4.5, that they were learning these ropes. And we became active with the Immune Deficiency Foundation on this journey, which has been amazing. And, we've met so many incredible people. We've done the advocacy. We've gone to Capitol Hill, which was so empowering. And, one of the things that I always encourage people when I speak to them to do is to realize the value that they have as being the power of one. Because what we've been able to do in Massachusetts started with one person's idea of wanting to make a difference and not wanting one more person to go through the confusion alone.
Scaredness.
And to provide that support and to give everybody else an opportunity around us to experience the journey with us, and that it wasn't all bad, that there was good that comes from that, and that we could bless each other, and that we can share with each other and support each other and strengthen each other, encourage each other, and educate each other through this process. And, the journey isn't one that we chose. We still have 10 fingers and 10 toes. But it is a journey that I wouldn't trade in for this world, because we have learned so many things from other people, not just from what we've done, but from what we've learned from other people. That the blessing in all of this is that we're not alone. And we can share that with somebody else. And we can give that support to somebody